Tune in to the Unaffiliated Creators Podcast. I'm your host, kaeveryday. It's your boy, K. This is the Indie Artist Safe Place, so please take off your shoes, get comfortable, and stay a while. Do us a favor and please rate the show. And if you have any feedback for us, please email us at unaffiliatedcreatives@gmail.com. Now that everybody has taken off their shoes and got comfortable, Rocky, what you been up to?
What's up, y'all, man? It's Rocky Braxton from Long Island Rap Radar. Right now, the other day we did a show with Ace Allure, did her listening party at Quad Studios. Wednesday we did the Hit the Beat showcase with Drewski and them. So next thing we got coming up is probably in October. We're gonna do like a showcase for all artists. So tap in with the page for more info.
So I want to let everybody know that this is actually one of the first people that I've actually had on the podcast that is actually a podcaster themselves. So, we making history. So I wanted to start off by asking you, have you always lived in the Long Island area?
No, I used to live in Queens for like about 6 years. And then I moved out here to Long Island. Been here ever since.
All right. So how long have you been podcasting?
Sheesh. Probably since like 2020 when the whole COVID thing happened. I started messing with the Anchor app. I was doing podcasts through Anchor, which was like straight phone to phone, like voice, no video.
All right. So you would like to credit COVID for giving you your start as far as tapping in with doing the podcasting?
Oh, definitely. Like, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't really get into it. But it was like there was nothing else to do, so I was like, let me try this. Let me try to like interact with people because remember we was all stuck inside the crib. So definitely credit COVID for that.
Hey, I know this is gonna sound kind of crazy. So I actually didn't start doing podcasts until after COVID was over. I kind of wish, and of course, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know COVID was a terrible thing. A lot of people lost their lives, people lost family members and stuff. But the fact that we basically had to be inside, that would have been a perfect moment to really capitalize on doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. So I missed my window of opportunity when it came to that.
But you're doing good now, man. You're doing very good now.
Hey, man, I'm having to play catch up, man. That's why I've been grinding so hard. So let me ask you, so you are the host of the Long Island Rap Radar show. With that being said, what's the difference between your show and the Rap Radar with Elliott Wilson?
The difference with my thing is that what we do over here, we do the interviews, right? That's what I do with the show. You see the interviews, but we do more than that because Long Island Rap Radar is also a blog page. So you also got in-house studios. So it's a studio there. We got a freestyle show. We got multiple umbrellas underneath our shows, not just one thing. That's what separates us from everybody else.
Okay. But is your show affiliated with the Rap Radar or is it something totally separate?
Nah, it's something separate. So we got two umbrellas right now. We got Queens Rap Radar and Long Island Rap Radar. Something different from regular Rap Radar. It's our own thing for New York.
So this wasn't even one of the questions that I had prepared to ask you, but since you just explained that you covered two of the boroughs, at some point are y'all gonna branch out and have a Rap Radar that covers all the different boroughs of New York City?
That's what we are planning on doing. We want to have a Brooklyn Rap Radar, a Staten Island Rap Radar, even eventually an Atlanta Rap Radar. That's the goal. But as long as we keep growing and everything keeps going as well, it might be sooner than later,
It just reminds me of a cartoon. There was these two, I think they were mice. They said that they plan was to take over the world, man. It sounds like you trying to take over New York City, then you're going to migrate down to Atlanta. Next thing you know, you're going to be telling me you're going to take it out to Cali. Hey, look, man, save something for the rest of us, man. You can't, man, come on, man.
Hey, man, I gotta try to do what I gotta do, man. It's like, I gotta try to expand. I got to.
All right, so what's your affiliation with the record label Olympic Gold?
Oh, there we go. So Olympic Gold, that's before I got part of the Long Island Rap Radar team, that's something separate. So I opened up the LIC for that. It's just me and my cousin, Love Me Not. We distribute all our music through Olympic Gold Records. We just did a song with Chaos the Don. He's from Jersey. That's Bayway Fuego. That's his artist. If you know, shout out to Bayway Fuego, radio DJ. So yeah, so we put everything together. So yeah, Let Me Go. That's I haven't heard that in a while, but yeah, that's the record company right there.
All right, so you kind of mentioned it. So I came across a song by Love Me Not, and it featured you, and it was titled "Too Handsome." So my question to you is, how will people know that you guys are handsome? Because the artwork for the song, you couldn't see you guys' face.
You gotta check out Instagrams. You gotta check out Rocket Man Trav and what's his Instagram? I think his Instagram handle is what? No, Trap Denzel, and check out Trap Denzel. And you guys let us know.
Oh, so people gotta go look up the IG pages to see what y'all really look like, huh?
You know what I'm saying? And then they can decide for themselves. Wow, that's crazy how you said Too Handsome. I forgot all about that song. Then we did that in like 2018-ish.
Hey, man, think about me, man. Before I do these shows, man, I try to do my homework, man. So I try to be well prepared before I just get on here and start just rambling, sounding like I don't know what I'm talking about.
I like that, man. I like that.
So if you could choose between being a music artist or a podcaster, and you could only do one for the rest of your life, which one would you choose and explain why?
I would probably stick with the podcasting because be honest with you, I'm not that good of an artist. Like, you know, so like my cousin, whatever, Love Me Not, for that Too Handsome song, he wrote my whole entire part. So it's like I don't rap. That's not my thing. Podcasting come easy to me. Like it's easy for me to interact with people, you know what I'm saying? That's just way more easier for me than doing music. So definitely podcasting.
It's funny you said that. So I know I'm not gonna say nobody's name, but I know there's a lot of rappers in the game that people be writing for them too. But it's kind of like I don't know if it's like a pride thing. It's like, you know, most rappers don't want to admit that they be getting people to write, you know, some of their raps. But I just think it was kind of refreshing to hear you just be open and honest and just share with us that, you know, you basically had somebody else write your rap. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Of course, I'm gonna be honest, because you know, at the end of the day, I'm not a rapper. Like, what's that guy? What was that guy from Super Hot Five? He's like, I'm not a rapper though. You know, just like that. I'm not a rapper.
Oh man. All right. So let me ask you this question. So what do you feel is the most important thing when it comes to podcasting? And what I mean by that, so do you think it's like equipment? Do you think it's software? Do you think it's getting clean audio? Do you think it's asking good questions? So what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to podcasting?
I'll probably say clean. I'll probably say clean audio and great questions. Like the equipment, it doesn't really matter what you really use because as long as they can hear you very clearly, like that's all that really matters. And the questions, as long as it keeps everybody engaged and the questions keep rolling out very smoothly, those to me are the two most important things. Everything else could come afterwards. You know.
All right. Take a few minutes and talk to us about your worst podcast interview experience you've ever had.
Okay. Hold on. Let me think about this one.
And to protect the innocent, you don't have to say the person's name. You know, like if you was interviewing somebody, just to protect them, you don't have to say their name. But if you could remember, you might not have no bad experience.
No, I had bad experiences before. Definitely had a bad experience. Probably sometime this year did an interview for this guy, and it's like I'm asking the questions, but he's not. You know, when you answer a question, you kind of like really you elaborate the question so the conversation can keep on flowing. It's like you just give these one-word answers, and I'm like, all right, cool, da. So I gotta ask another question, another one-word answer. I'm like, all right, cool, it's not flowing. So the interview didn't last no longer than like about maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, and I was aiming for like 15, 20. So I never put that out. That video never seen the light of day.
So I share this with you because, like I say, when people come on my show, I like to treat it like we family. So I feel, you know, we can be open, honest, we chop it up, we having a good time. So I will say that probably one of the, I'm not going to necessarily say it was the worst, but I guess I could just feel it. You can tell when you have a guest on and they're very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you probably had this too. And it almost, and it's like the person is so uncomfortable because you can tell that they obviously haven't, you know, had opportunities to do a lot of interviews. So they're so uncomfortable that it kind of makes you uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was kind of one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Then it got to the point where it's like you're trying to say certain things that kind of like make them feel comfortable, but then you start realizing that the only way you can do it is you basically have to like, and of course as an interviewer you don't want to have to do this, but it feels like you basically have to take over the entire
Yes.
interview, and it feels like you're doing most of the talking because the other person is like, it's like pulling teeth trying to get them to talk because they're so scared. So yeah, that was probably one of my.
That's exactly what happened to me. So I know exactly what you're saying right now. So I know exactly what you mean. Like, hate it. I hate it. I hate that.
So kind of piggybacking off of that, so I wanted to ask you this. Have you ever freestyled a podcast? And what I mean by that is like, have you ever had a guest come on your show and you didn't like have any questions, prepared beforehand?
Oh, definitely. So like, if you go on the YouTube page, Long Island Rap Radar, the first 3 episodes, I wrote down no questions. It was all freestyles, and a lot of people don't believe me, but like, it's like I just sat there because it's my first time ever like doing it in front of like a camera. So usually it's like just voice to voice, so you can't really see the person. So like when sitting down next to each other, the location's a little bit different because you see the location now. Now we have this nice setup. Now before it was just a dark room in the studio. And all those questions right there was all freestyle. All this came from the top of my head. If you watch the 4th episode, you can kind of see I kind of stuttered a little bit. Like you kind of catch that. So like, yeah, the first 4, straight freestyle. Then from there, now it's more organized now. Now I write down my questions and it flows a little bit more better now. But I freestyled before.
So would you say that you think that having questions prepared makes it a little bit better than freestyling, or do you think it really doesn't matter either way?
I feel like having questions prepared kind of has it more organized, I want to say. And I feel like more organized is better because once it's more organized, you can ask your questions, and in between those questions, you can freestyle between those questions because you already have another question prepared to ask. Instead of just going out freestyle and you got the top of your head just think of something.
So the reason why I wanted to ask you this question is because I've never tried to freestyle a podcast, and
Okay.
I was just curious to see if you've ever done it, to see how it turned out. I kind of want to do it just to see how it would turn out, but after hearing your answer, I don't know. You got me kind of scared. Like, man, I try to freestyle, I'm gonna be, stuttering and mumbling and bubbling all over my words. They're gonna be like, hey man, you need to stick to writing the questions.
I feel like you should try at least once, you know what I'm saying? But like do it with like a guest that you had on the show before. Like you know how you do the outside sit downs? Do it like that and see and just go off it. Like they're gonna talk, you wanna ask a question, try to get a question from what the response is, and you're just gonna just keep freestyling. And then you'd be like, all right, I kinda like that. You'd be like, nah, I'm gonna stick to the question, but at least try it once. I feel like everybody should try it once.
All right. So I wanted to ask you this. Do you ever go back and listen to your podcast after you've uploaded them and like, put them on the different DSPs or wherever you put your podcast? Do you ever go back and listen to them after you've like released them out?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And sometimes the older ones, I listen to some of them and I cringe, like, that could have been better, or that could have been better. And I watched the most recent one, oh my God, that could be better. Okay, I see where I messed up there. And then I take that for the next one and I make it better every single time. Yeah, no one can be perfect, but I'm trying to get as close to it as I can.
Okay. I wanted to ask that question because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one that did that. I thought I was kind of crazy. Like I put a podcast out and then I go back and listen to it. I'm like, man, I'm listening for different things. I'm listening to, the levels. Was it too loud, too low?
Mm-hmm.
Did I mix my vocals with, the other person's vocals? Do it sound like they match, and all that kind of stuff? I just, wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one out there doing that.
I feel like anybody who wants to be great at something, you always go back and watch your most previous work and try to work on it. Whether it's like, even with music, musicians go back, they listen to the track 4 or 5 times, like, nah, I don't really like that one. Let me critique that again, Or you playing a sport, I don't really like that jump shot. Let me try that again. So if you're trying to be great, always go back and check your work over.
All right, so I couldn't let you get out of here without asking you this question. So give me your top 5 podcasts, and you can give them to me in any order.
Oh, top 5. Dang.
Or let me so if you don't have a top 5, name me 5 podcasts that you listen to.
Oh, one is definitely yours. You know what I'm saying? I definitely bump your podcast. That's how I'll be checking it every day on YouTube when you drop an episode. That's why I like how you do it with the outside. That's like different. Never seen that before. So you're one of them. You know, mine. And another one I also bump is the Joe Rogan's podcast. That's dope. I feel like there's one more I usually listen to. It's one more. Can't think of it on the top of my head. But those are my 3. I can't come up with 5. Those are 3 right there.
All right, so I'm not gonna say these are my top 5, but these are just some of the ones that I look at and I listen to. And I think I look at these because they're kind of similar to what I do. But they're just a little different. So of course I look at the Joe Budden podcast because he's considered to be
That's the one I forgot to say, Joe.
the most popular one in this kind of genre. So I look at him. I look at Drink Champs. I look at $1 Million Worth of Game.
Mm-hmm.
I look at, I don't know if you've ever seen this one. I don't know if you've ever seen Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay.
That's dope.
That's pretty good. And Marcellus Wiley. I don't know if you remember him. He used to be on Fox Sports. He mainly was a sports commentator, but now he left Fox and he got his own podcast. And he talk about stuff. Yeah, he talk about stuff other than sports too. So that's why I like looking at him, because I like how he break things down. So he do a pretty good job too.
I gotta check that one out. What's the name of that one?
Well, his name is Marcellus Wiley. He played in the NFL for years. And then like I said, he was a sports commentator. But now the name of the podcast is called Never Shut Up.
Shut up. Okay. I'm gonna definitely check that one out.
He do a pretty good job. Yeah, and I'm gonna be tapping in. I was looking at some of your stuff too. So you said you've been looking at me. Hey, I've been looking at you too. So that's what we do, man. We always be kind of watching and seeing what other people be doing. I'm like, hey.
Yep.
When you think we ain't watching.
Other kings knows kings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Just keep grinding, doing your thing.
Appreciate you.
So I would say, who do you think is the best out of all of them? And I know that might be a hard one because I know there's different types, different genres and stuff. But who do you think is the best?
Who's doing the best right now? All of them? Maybe. I really like Joe, but who's doing the best right now is the Drink Champs. I'm not gonna lie, because like every episode is like the conversations that they get out of these people or not. Because if you watch an interview from like a different artist, they're just regurgitated questions. So it's like you'll see an interview from like 2 months ago and another one from like most recently. It's the same questions asked over and over. They get different type of answers out of them, like stories that you never heard before. The Ja Rule one was crazy. The Fat Joe one was crazy. So I think Drink Champs right now is on top of the game right now. Kanye West one was the biggest one. I'm not gonna lie. They had to get shut down.
Yeah, so I think I kind of figured out how, and it's funny that you brought that up because I noticed the same thing, and I think I kind of figured out how they're able to get the artists to really open up, and they go into like these crazy stories that goes beyond just answering like basic questions. I think it's 2 things. One, I think it really helps that Nori was in the game for as long as he was, and he got like a lot of relationships with a lot of people in the game. So he has a lot of interesting stories that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know now unless you really know him. So when he started sharing some of the like crazy stuff that he went through and some of the wild, stories and stuff that he had, I think it puts the person on the show comfortable. And next thing you know, they start telling all of the crazy stuff and stories and stuff that happened to them. And then I think the second element of the show that kind of really helps get all of those stories is the fact that he be getting the people to drink. Because, once you had a couple of drinks, you start kind of, getting relaxed.
Loosening up.
Yeah, they see, you start talking. You be like, they probably go back and look at them episodes like, man, I can't believe I said this and that. But, hey, man, you get the alcohol in you, man, you start getting comfortable. You start talking.
Yep. Remember with the Herb Gotti, he said everything about Ashanti. He spelled everything.
Yeah, I thought that one was kind of crazy. I'm like, man, some things, man, you just got to say, hey, You was
Yeah,
there, you know what happened, but he just
exactly.
he was spilling it all.
Cool. Yep.
So I wanted to ask you, so would you rather stay an independent podcast, or would you want to get signed by a major company or be a part of a podcast network at some point?
I would definitely want to be signed to like a major company. It's cool to be independent for a while, but I want to make that money. You know what I'm saying? I want to because I have whatever money that we do have, we have enough to do enough promotion on this level as much as we have. But with a company, they have like an endless amount of money to really promote you to where you need to be promoted at. So I definitely want to join a company eventually in the future.
All right, so the premise of this podcast is independent artists or independent business people, learning from other, independent artists and stuff like that. So I couldn't let you get out here without asking you this. So what mistakes, if any, have you made so far in your music or podcast career that other people can learn from?
What mistake have I made? Definitely missed opportunities, So it's like if you have a chance to book a certain artist, or you have a certain venue to go to, you never trying yeah, definitely missed the opportunity. So if you have a chance to go out and talk to a certain artist that you need to talk to, take that opportunity. Don't ever second guess yourself or be like, oh, I can't book this person to get on the show, or I can't do this. Because at first, that's what I used to do. I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can get this guy. I don't think I can get this guy. All you gotta do is just open up your mouth and just reach out to them. You don't know what I'm saying. You don't know who's who. Most of these guys, they would love to be a part of something because it helps their brand as well. So never be scared to reach out to who you want to be on your show.
I like knowing what you know now. What advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, so to my younger self, I would tell my younger self to don't be afraid. Take chances. Don't sit there and think that, oh yeah, maybe I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Just because they could do that don't mean I could do that. Do anything you want to do. As long as the number one step to doing something is that you have to actually do it. You know what I'm saying? As Kobe Bryant says, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So take that shot.
I like that. Take the time to tell the audience anything that you would want them to know that we haven't talked about already for whatever reason.
Okay. So let y'all know that. All right. So with Long Island Rap Radar, what we're doing, now we're trying to bridge the gap. We're not also trying to cover New York. We're trying to cover also Atlanta. We're trying to cover California. Any events, any shows, you can always DM us, book us. We'll come to the events. We'll film it. Artists, tap in if you want to be part of the podcast, the interview. We'll do it all. Just reach out to me. That's all. Rocket Man Trav or Long Island Rap Radar.
All right, so real quick, I did want to ask you, so what made you want to come on the podcast?
I seen what you was doing, and I was like, I gotta be a part of that. Like, I need to be on that because I see what your platform is. I was like, let me bring my platform and his platform, and let me spread it out to his audience as well. So you have a good following.
I appreciate that, man. It's always about, us helping each other out. So when you say you wanted to come on, I was like, hey, yeah, why not? It makes sense. I mean, we might as well cross-pollinate, like you said. I'm pretty sure you got people that's tuning in to you that's never heard of me and vice versa. So, when I put this stuff out, they'll be like, oh, man, he did the interview. Okay. Oh, that's Rocky. Yep. Oh, yeah. So, man. So, yeah, I was like, hey, man, yeah, let's do it. So I wanted to give you the opportunity. Is there anything that you would like to ask me?
Oh, of course. So you said you just started this after COVID. So how long you been doing this for?
So with this podcast, right and it's funny. I started doing this right around Thanksgiving last year. So when Thanksgiving rolled around this year, that'll be like my year point.
You ain't been doing this for a year?
This podcast.
Damn.
But before that, so I used to have another podcast. It was more geared around sports. It was me and one of my friends, but it was kind of hard. And I'm pretty sure you probably dealt with this too. when you having to work with other people's schedules and always trying to like coordinate and get together and stuff, sometimes that can be kind of hard. So that's why with this one, it's like it's really just me. So I don't have to fight with my schedule because it's just me. So it just made it a little bit easier to not have to juggle a lot of things when I'm having to deal with somebody else. But yeah, I've been doing this one, like I said, around Thanksgiving. It'll be a year.
So you've been doing all this by yourself. You don't got no computer guy. You are the computer guy. You set up all your own stuff, the backdrop, everything.
Yeah,
wow, bro, that's pretty good.
So
that's definitely good.
So it's funny you asked that. So yeah, I do everything, but the reason why I kind of know how to do all this stuff because I'm also an artist. But to be honest with you, I actually been devoting more time to the podcast than trying to be a music artist. But I'm a singer. I've been singing ever since I was little. So I sing, I write my own songs, and then I started learning how to engineer my own songs because nobody. I mean, well, some people do, but I don't want to have to keep going to a music studio every time I want to record a song. So I recorded stuff in my house and I do all the stuff. I was engineering and stuff. And then I even started making my own beats too. So I was just a self-contained unit. And I used to shoot weddings and different like events and gigs and stuff. And I used to do, professional photography, videography. Got an opportunity, to do photography for the NFL. So I have experience and all that stuff. So that's why I'm able to like break out cameras and like when you see me on the scene doing the podcast out and about, like in town and stuff. That's me doing all that stuff, editing, multi-camera and all that stuff. Yeah, I do all that.
Wow, you're very, very well rounded.
Yes, but I will say that at some point it would be good to be able to have a team because it gets tiring having to do all this stuff yourself.
And you said you're stationed at where, Virginia?
Yes, I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm in Virginia.
So eventually, you know what I'm saying, be looking for somebody for Virginia Rap Radar. I'll definitely put you in. Like you can run that whole thing. Like you got everything down pat.
Hey man, if y'all ever come up with a Virginia rap, hey man, just hit me up. Yeah, I pretty
got
much,
you, buddy.
I pretty much got everything I need to get it going, man. So yeah, just
I see.
Yeah. We'll definitely stay locked in, man. We'll figure something out.
Definitely, bro.
All right. Well, before you get out of here, tell the audience where they can find you online.
Oh, y'all can find me on Instagram at Rocketman Trav or the page Long Island Rap Radar. Or on YouTube, Long Island Rap Radar as well. You can watch all the interviews and podcasts all from the page.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time to come on. I'm definitely going to be locked in with you. I'm going to keep up, see what you got going on, man. And hey, we'll figure something out sometime soon.